Okay. Okay, now it's being recorded. So thank you, Sean, Anton, and Cindy for taking your precious time to share your secrets with us and help us reach to another level. I did a deal with Cindy before. She's one of the best I ever know. Finally get to see her in person. I mean, not in person on the camera, but hopefully we can meet up soon, Cindy. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Um, all right. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. My name is Kenny Ho. I'm the Senior Mortgage Loan Officer at First Tech Federal Credit Union. I've been here for almost 6 years already, since 2017. And we do a lot of loans that other lender doesn't do. So hopefully this presentation will help you. If you ever have a buyer saying that they cannot get a mortgage or the lender decline them, hopefully you can take a look at the program that Vivian has or I have. Then we can help them get pre-approved instead of letting them say no. We will find a solution for your client to get a mortgage. Um, the first special loan that we have is the combination loan, which is the uh, two loans with no mortgage insurance. Minimum down payment is 10% down payment, or you can do 5% down payment, depending on the purchase price. 6 months reserve required, and this is only for primary home only. Now, this is an example of a 10% down payment loan program. We can get up to maximum $2 million in purchase price with only needing $220,000. The rate that you see might change day to day, but based on the rates from previously, that's what I have. And if you have a client saying they don't have enough down payment or they don't want to sell their stock to take a loss at this time, we can help them purchase home with little as 10% down payment in jumbo market. I personally did a lot of these. This is one of our most popular loan program. A lot of people were able to take advantage of this in 2018, 19, and they purchased a home and generate a lot of equity and they can refinance as well. Let me see if I can mute everyone. One second. Participant. All right. Okay. And next program. And this is an example of 5% down payment. We can also do 5% down payment with no mortgage insurance. Um, the the key component of this 5 or 10% down payment is you get a first mortgage and a second mortgage. And the second mortgage is a home equity line of credit. By doing a first and a second mortgage, uh, you don't have to pay mortgage insurance on these two loans. As you can see, there's no mortgage insurance here, and it requires little as only 5% down payment. You can get up to $1.5 million house. It's probably going to be even higher now because the limit has increased from 970,000 to 1,080,000 or something. I remember for Fannie Mae limit. The next loan program that we have is the 0% down payment loan program with mortgage insurance. Now it has mortgage insurance. This is for purchase in home only and single family home. Maximum loan amount is 726,000. So the loan amount is the same as the purchase price, so 726,000. This will probably work in areas in the Central Valley where the price of the home are cheaper. But hey, your client don't need to have any down payment. All they need is have to come up with a closing cost, and they can purchase home with 0% down. We do lot and land loans. If you have someone wants to buy a piece of land or piece of lot, say like they want to build a dream home and they want to get financing on the loan, we do have a lot loan as well. We can go up to maximum $1 million, but more down payment are required for a bigger loan amount for a lot loan. and it's a 15-year fixed rate mortgage and with a competitive rate. The other
I have a
piece is
question about, sorry, Kenny. I
yes,
have a question about the landlord.
yes.
It says like a 15-year fixed rate. So is it a balloon or is going to be like a amortized loan?
Good question, Sean. How are you doing? Sean is
Yeah.
one of the top realtors. We did a lot of deals together. Good to hear from
Yeah.
you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
This is a 15-year fixed rate. There's no balloon payment. It's a
Okay.
15-year. Just imagine a 15-year regular mortgage.
It's just like,
Interest and
oh, okay,
principal.
that's great. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 30 down payment and okay. So can this be combined with a construction loan?
Yes. After they get the lot loan, it might take them a while to get the construction started. We can roll
Mm-hmm.
this loan into a construction loan. Yes.
Great. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that's one of the products I was looking for. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Kenny, I have one more question about this real quick. Does the
Yes.
land need to have utilities and or sewage?
No, they don't. It just have to be a piece of land.
Oh,
Utility
wow,
and sewer is not required. Yes.
Got
that's
it.
great.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I have
Yes.
a question.
But it cannot have a structure on it. Barn's okay, but if it has like a house that's beat up and it's a habitable house, then that house got to be removed.
So
Sounds good.
does it need to be a residential?
We only do lands that can build for residential homes, not for
Okay.
commercial. Yeah. Usually, when they sell, it's usually in the residential area. Commercial is a different type. I don't do the commercial one.
Got it.
Yeah. And we do have unique visa programs for OPT client. So a lot of students who graduate from college and they have a job offer already, but they don't have the H-1B or other type of work visa yet, and they want to purchase a home. We are one of the few lenders that accept EAD card with the OPT stamp on the EAD card. So they can purchase a home with a F1 student visa if they have a valid EAD card and a valid work employment offer. And they get the same type of rate and same type of guideline required, same as US citizen, H1B or green card. Um, Everything's the same. So not a lot of lenders accept OPT clients. The
Yep.
best one we have, yes. Oh, um, the best one that we have is the foreign national relocation program. If you have someone who came here with no credit score, with no credit history, but they have a job offer and a valid work visa, we are able to help them get secure a mortgage. They don't need to wait a year. They don't need to wait 2 years. They don't need to wait to get credit card. They don't need to wait the trade line to be established. We can just help them get a mortgage right away. And I personally did a couple of loans with Sean for foreign national buyers.
Yeah.
So this is one of the unique program we have. Let's see. And our closing timelines and underwriting timelines are pretty fast. 16-day closing on a single family home. Condos takes a little bit longer because it's with HOA involved. And underwriting pre-approval takes 1 or 2 business days, and appraisal is pretty fast at this time. I would want to say the key thing is there's always a loan program out there for your client if they have um, a difficult with other lender, either me or Vivian. I know Vivian at PNC. If you have a client who don't have RSU vesting history, PNC can use it right away. I refer a lot of clients to Vivian already. So they don't let your clients say, "Oh, I can get approved for mortgage." We always going to have a solution for them. And thank you. And now I'm going to make Vivian the host so she can present. Let's see. Vivian, are
Thank
you
you,
there?
Kenny. Yes.
Okay. Let me make you the host so you can share your screen. Okay, you can share your screen now, Vivian.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenny. You guys have a lot of different useful loan program. So I'm going to start my program too. Hopefully I can impress you like Kenny. So my name is Vivian. I'm from PMC Bank. Okay. Our bank offer VA loan 0% down payment. This is for veteran. FHA loan 3.5% down payment. Conforming loan 5% down. Jumbo loan minimum down payment is 15%. And then we also offer HELOC for the primary house. Okay, so PMC, we have a PMC grant. We can give up to $5,000 toward closing costs for the client. It's a case by case. There's an income requirement, and that is another one is not income sensitive at all. As long as the property is located at low to moderate income area, then the client is eligible to apply for the PMC grant. For jumbo loan, our minimum down payment is 15% up to 1.5 million loan amount. No mortgage insurance required. So if the client is putting 20% down, we can lend up to 3 million. And we also have a special program if the client has 1 million post-closing, meaning that the client paid the closing costs, pay the down payment, still have 1 million assets, we can lend them up to $5 million loan amount and they only need to put 20% down. And also for that type of client, if they want to borrow 1.5 million loan amount, they only need to put 10% down. Okay, so everybody all know that PMC is very, very friendly in terms of when it comes to the RSU vesting schedule. In this Silicon Valley, a lot of the company, they offer RSU to employee. So typical sample will be if the client has a 2-year RSU vesting schedule, all the bank can, most of the bank can use it. But what if your client only come to the company for maybe like 4 months, they just graduate from college, they don't have 2-year history, we can also use their RSU income. And another scenario is if the client switch company from Yahoo to Google and they work for Google for less than 2 years, we also can use the RSU income as well. So different scenario. Whenever you have a RSU income for the client, make sure you contact me. I can provide solution for your client. Another friendly guideline that we have is we allow to use the departure rental home income, and that can help the client to bring down their debt to income ratio. So if a client is buying their second home and they want to rent out their current house, we are okay to use it. We are okay to use the rental income for the current house. Give money. In here, a lot of the client, they have gift money from foreign country like Indian or China or Hong Kong, Korean. We don't check the donor's bank statement. This is one of our specialties. Okay. When we qualify client, a lot of the bank, if they give the client, for example, 5% interest rate, they will add 2% on top of the 5% to qualify for the client. In PMC, if we give you 5%, this is what we use to qualify for the client. So in this case, your client will have lower debt to income ratio. Okay. Some people may ask, what if my client is very wealthy? After they pay the down payment and the closing costs, they still have a lot of money left in their bank account, start account, and also their retirement account. In this case, we can use those money to calculate as part of their income as well. So I'm not going to go to detail how to calculate it, but if we can use this money to boost up their income, which means their buying power will increase and loan amount will increase. So more option for the client and for the realtor. PMC do offer exception for the client for those who have very high credit score and low debt to income ratios, and then also have low loan to value. If they need some type of the help, for example, right now I have a client have a lot of the assets after the closing costs and the down payment, and his credit score is very high, but his debt to income ratio is already over 43%. So we apply for exception for him, and we will get the debt to income ratio up to 50%. So we do have exception for client like that. For investment property, a lot of the bank, they require 40% or 45% down payment. PMC only require 30% down payment. And for client that who has annual income of 250K, the rate is very, very nice. The interest rate is almost the same as buying a primary house. Last but not least, we offer HELOC for people who want to take out the money from their primary house to buy another house or to buy investment property. We also have that program too. Thank you so much. If you have any question, feel free to reach out to me. Right now, let's welcome our speaker, Sean, Anton, and Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is Sean here, and I'm very happy that we have this many agents coming here. So I'd like to introduce, our team and myself a little bit to everybody. I think some of you may know us. Some of you may be relatively, hearing us new, because we are here majorly representing buyers in the Bay Area, and I don't think that numbers care. We did have some transactions, but I think this is more like an open discussion. So we'd like to share some stories and some of the thoughts over the years, and and also of course welcome a lot of questions and discussion. So why don't we start? I guess Cindy, go first.
Okay. Hi everyone. Hello. So actually, there's no secret in this industry. I just want to share a little bit about my own experience. I think I still have a very long way to go. I'm just very lucky to have Sean as my mentor and Anton as the advisor. They're both very unselfish and love to share. So in your early career, find a good mentor can save you a lot of time and help you grow fast. This is my 5th year in this industry. I just renewed my license 2 months ago. I do see and become more confident and and comfortable dealing with clients. I think confidence is very important because buyers or sellers can feel it for sure when you talk to them. So my own experience is to be knowledgeable and keep learning can build your own your confidence level. And you have a good understanding of the local market, local community, structure issues, estimate cost, estimate renovation cost, all those kind of knowledge. You need those knowledge, talk to the people, and I think knowledge is the foundation to be successful in this industry. Every day we handle all kinds of objections from buyers or sellers, and also knowledge, I think, is not automatically come to us. We need to spend time to learn and figure. Also, Anton, Anton is a very confident person. I learned from him as well. The next point I would like to share is just to be yourself, discover your own advantage and develop your own style. I'm with Sean, it's 5th years right now. I think in the first 2 years, I tried to, imitating Sean's style because Sean is the top agent for years and tried to figure out his success and, imitating him. But I found out it's not work out for me because we totally have different personalities. Sean is very logic and very rational person. He can talk a lot of stuff and come back to the original points to do the summary. All he talks are very convincing. Like the same words come out to my mouth, it's just totally different. But I do find myself is, more approachable. So clients, when they talk to me, they don't feel pressure. So yeah, this is my advantage. Those are the points I wanted to share today, to be confident, knowledgeable, find a good mentor in your early career, and just to be yourself and find your own style. That's all the experience I want to share.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Yeah, I think I'm not a very harsh person. I'm also very approachable, by the way.
No.
But
I
yeah.
don't say you're not approachable, but you are more rational and logic. And
Yeah, I
I
think
copy your language, but I copy your words, but I cannot copy
in your own
logic.
language.
Yeah, I need to
Yes.
organize my own language and
Yeah.
come up different. Yeah, that's the feelings in the past couple years.
Yeah, just for your information, so that we guys work as a team, and for most of our listing negotiation, it's actually Cindy who is actually negotiating. So if you're calling about our listing, you mostly likely we're speaking to Cindy, because we this is also through our practices, and we found that if you have a like collaborative way to work with buyer's agent, because we work with buyers a lot, right? So when we know that buyer's agent, they don't want to have a people like me and telling them, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, Cindy is more amicable. So when she tells people, it's like giving people some kind of like daily gossips, making people comfortable. So kind of like feeling that it's going to be eventually a better result. So it's magic. So yeah, so that's a very harmonious machine. That's the way we're working out. Yeah, so I think it's very good point. You don't have to be someone else. You just need to be the best of yourself. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. And Anton, please go.
Yeah. So I didn't prepare for any bullet points or anything, but I'm just gonna rattle on. But touch some details upon what Cindy said and about having confidence and so forth, and information. I think those two go definitely hand in hand. And if you guys are really recently starting out here, I think the most difficult thing is getting clients, right? Because right now between Sean, Cindy, and I, most of our clients derive from a sphere of influence and past referrals. In fact, I think upwards of 90%, maybe even 95% of this comes from our transactions come from referrals from clients that we closed past in the past. And that doesn't obviously come instantly. This is what you have to build on. It took years to have this big sphere of influence. But starting out, I would say, as Cindy said, you have to have confidence when you talk to these potential leads, and you always have to think about, like, this person is definitely talking to someone else, to another agent, right? I always have this concept in my mind, right? Anytime I'm talking to a potential lead at an open house, which, by the way, is like one of the best ways to get leads if you're not paying for them. But with that being said, is that the more information you have with about properties in general, about the market, the more you're going to stand out, right? I've been to open houses and I've dressed down before when I'm touring, and just touring by myself. And it's kind of funny how some agents run their open house. It's pretty simple sometimes. Walk in, they ask if I have an agent, and sometimes I'll say no, because I actually don't have an agent, because I am an agent. And they just try to collect my my information, right? Like, yeah. Okay, I'll write down my information, I walk away, and that's it, right? So their style is pretty simple, right? They'll get as much information as possible, and then later on they'll try to contact you. But if you think about this, the type of style, it's not really good. It's because it's much more easier to connect to someone face to face versus over the phone. So if they don't have an agent, right? If you're asking them at the open house, they don't have an agent, then connect with them right there. And within that connection period, like just have just like the most dedicated conversation with them, and an in-depth conversation with them about the market and so forth. And most importantly is high consideration for them. What I mean by that is everyone's in different scenarios, right? So you have to, you should fully understand your client, their scenario, and provide solutions. Some of them, hey, I want to buy, tomorrow. Great. That's what most people will call a hot client. Hey, I'm trying to I'm shopping around, looking around. That's totally fine. They're at the open house, and eventually they're going to buy, right?
Yeah.
It's your job to facilitate that and provide as much value as possible, and that comes with information, right? If you just know the basics, the median price, okay, everyone, you can look that on Redfin, right? But more in-depth information is provide value, and I actually almost instantaneously become their agent right there in front of them, right there talking with them, right?
Yeah. So I want to interject a little bit. I think Anton is kind of still very high level, very summarizing. But I want to give you a couple of real examples that I myself observed, and I'm gonna have to tell you guys, this guy is 100% a killer at an open house. I cannot do that good. Okay, here's what happens. Okay, guys. You start, the guy is asking a question. Hey, what the seller is selling the house, right? He's answering, hey, the seller is the investor. He bought the house for profit. Kind of like in 1 or 2 time, they kind of fear it's a good time to sell and blah blah blah. So right after Anton finished this simple question, he doesn't wait. He doesn't wait to say, oh, you know what? What's your next question? Do you have any other question? No, thank you very much. Then I go, right? He goes immediately to, do you have an agent? Are you working with an agent right now? And the other guy, most likely, interestingly, will say, yes. They most likely will say yes. And Anton will be asking, is it how many offers have you put? I heard that. How many offers have you put? They were like, oh, maybe 1 or 2. And then he's gonna be like, okay, I don't know, what's your progress, but I want to know what is good to take it from the way you're seeing until you buy, you buy a house, right? So that's kind of strong engagement. And I think it's very interesting that if you ask for the contact, here's a tip, guys. If you ask for the contact at the beginning, relatively at the conversation, it's going to be easier. Then you ask it at the end. Let me tell you why. Because they ask you a question, you answer them. It's a favor. Psychologically, they are feeling obligated to give you something in return. So if you answer a question and then ask for their contact information, there you go. I saw Anton collected maybe 20 phone numbers from one open house. I didn't have the gut to do that. So, this is a very special tip for you. Remember this. Answer question, getting data, and don't be shy. I mean, again, our mentor, Mr. Rishi Bakshi at Intero told us, you are a real estate agent. You are not a secret agent. Okay? So there you go. If you have the confidence, I think one of you asked how to get so many buyers, right? Or how to get so many leads. This is actually one of the starting point. I think an open house is a very effective way of getting useful leads. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll let Anton continue. I just want to find out that.
So one of Sean's talking about a recent open house we did last weekend, and one of the days, at least for 1 hour, I don't know what was wrong. What was wrong? I was super aggressive because I don't know, maybe I had too much coffee or something. But I'll explain one more scenario. Sometimes I'm very aggressive, and it's sometimes it's just for fun. There's this one family that came in, nice family. They had 2 children, right? And they're like, oh, okay, we're working with an agent. Okay, great. Is your agent here? No. Oh, oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So how long have you been shopping for? Yeah, we've been it's been like a year. Oh, wow. Wow. How many offers? Like, oh, we've put in several offers. Well, that's very interesting. How did you know of this property? Did your agent send you this link? Yeah. Okay, so your agent took a few minutes to send you this link, and now you're spending like at least 40 minutes to come here and tour. What is your budget? And he said, well, we're like 1.5, 1.6. I said, oh, wow, that's very interesting. I'll tell you right now that this property's definitely, with a 100% certainty, going to far surpass that budget. But it's surprising that your agent sent you this, because now it's sadly I hate to say it, but you're almost wasting your time. You're bringing your kids out here and stuff, but your agent seems like they're not putting that much care into what they're sending you, because it's only costing them like 1 minute, but it's costing you like 30-40 minutes to come out here. And then they're like, oh, wow. And I flipped over to Redfin, flipped through sold, looked in quarter-mile radius, and I said, look, I could just do your agent's work for you right here. Here are the comps. You tell me if this is going to sell in your budget. And he's like, give me the shock look, like, wow, this is, he looked like kind of very sad. But I kept on going, conversation rolled, and I said, I don't want to be disrespectful, step on any toes, and I don't want to, undermine you or anything or make you feel bad or sad, but I want to give you, what I give my clients is the reality of it, is because, it seems like you've been shopping for a whole year, which is kind of surprising to me, because if you're really, really wanting to buy a property and you're sending in this many offers, it should only take you about 3 to 4 offers to get into an agreement, if you're working with a very aggressive and knowledgeable agent. So, that's another example of how you may not want to be that aggressive, but I just want to give you an example of some things you could just pick apart, right? And I don't want to I still don't want to step on any toes from any agents, but if you guys are doing not a good job, you don't want them to talk to someone like me. So that way you should be doing, and this is a lesson too, right? If you have a client, don't be just sending them links without doing like the bare minimum of research, right? I did. Yeah. It took 30 seconds for me to flip to Redfin, sold properties, and clearly you don't need hundreds of transactions to know that this property is not going to sell way beyond this. Sometimes the list price, sell price delta ratio is super significant, dependent on the marketing that the listing team or listing agent is implementing. Yeah.
I wanted to add 2 points to Anton's comments here. Number one is that when we talk to, I would also suggest, and this is what I do at open house. I generally ask, if they say, hey, I have an agent, I'm asking that, hey, what's the agent's name? And if they answers right away with a name, I would generally stop there, because I don't really want to, because I fear if I'm competing with other people who actually actively working with agent, especially, I happen to know that agent. I know I'm probably gonna essentially make an enemy. So, so I don't generally go further. I said, okay, no problem. I'll contact your agent, and any questions regarding the house, let me know. And but if they answer with agent name, oh, you know what, I don't have it in my mind, okay, then I know that would be a target. Okay. And also summarizing Anton's second point, I think he actually mentioned, but I just want to pinpoint it out for you guys, is that when you send a link or an address to a client, you better research it and make sure you don't send something that is having an adversary effect on yourself. For example, You see a very beautiful house. It's a nice one, looking inside, bright, fully remodeled and everything. And then suddenly your client pointed out for you that, hey, this house is back to a highway. It's going to be super embarrassing, right? I mean, Anton mentioned about the price range that comes before he speaks to his clients, right? But we also want to know every single point of the thing that we send to the client. So when they go to the open houses, when they talk to other agents, they will know, oh, okay, I know this, right? Whatever he told me, I know the comps. My agent told me a lot. I just want to see the house in person to see what a house, like 200K, 300K over asking looks like, in my budget, right? So I want to find that way is the best way to keep your client. I think, I'm going to talk a little bit later, but I think what I'm going to be talking is more into how to retain your client. It's actually not going to be how to get more. Okay, you can simply getting leads by either buying or talking to everyone or trying to collect phone numbers. It's not going to work. It matters if you can retain and convert them. Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead. Continue, Anton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're really making good points, so I couldn't help talking.
Yeah. I'll just give another example. I think Mika wanted to know. She said, what do you say to people that have no agents? That's great.
Yeah. Cool.
So someone who has no agent, just like I said back previously, it's your job to assess them. Your real estate agent, assess the scenario and then provide solutions. So you don't have an agent, great, okay. Well, are you pre-approved? Do you have that? No. You got to ask these questions and then just inject a lot of information with them, just as much information without going into extreme detail, right? Oh, well, that's good, but purchasing a property is a very like a very detailed process, and sometimes it can be a prolonged process, but it's dependent on how fast you want to close, and every single buyer's in different scenarios. So I have a lot of information that is going to be super helpful for you and make this whole process of purchasing home as seamless and as easy as possible. Because if you're not working, if you don't have this detailed information, it could be very, very painful process. And then you could throw out an example, right? But that's how I would approach it. Just assess it right there, and then be their agent right there. Hey, what are you looking for? You're looking for oh yeah, I'm looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, which is a typical criteria in this area. Okay, well, you could go on Redfin or MLS. What I do too is sometimes I lean on, hey, I have access to off-market properties, and then you can flip on the members only on MLS listings. I wouldn't lean on that so much, is because it's not like this heaven of trove of properties that no one else has access to, right? But just give them something that they didn't know of, right? Or explain, like you could do a few different a few different tactics. The off-market tactic, informative tactic, and that way, you're basically just fully assessing them right there, giving them some properties, give them a few off-market properties, giving them maybe Vivian's contact. Say, yes, I have a great lender over there at the PNC. She provides this, and this. That way, you're just like a resource center, right? And you stick out from that other agent that said, oh, do you have an agent? No, okay, give me your contact information. Bye. Right? Other things too. So Sean's going to talk about retaining retaining buyers. I have a little bit to say about that, but Sean's going to predominantly be talking about that. So yeah.
There's one more question for you, Anton. in the chat.
Yeah. How about client coming to the open house and they have an agent? Also, it's in the right budget for them. How do you handle? So I'm not like some animal that's gonna grab your clients. only if you're if I sense that they're not really happy with you, then game on, man. But so you're at an open house and they have an agent, also it's in the right budget. I'm very respectful of other agents as well, right? Don't take me as some guy that's like
don't make enemies. You only see this client maybe once in a life, but you see the agent.
But like I said, if you guys are doing a really bad job, then
the Anto is there.
I'm there. I actually like it when I'm like, oh, how you talk to 5 other agents? Great, like my time to shine. But I'll ask, you're comfortable with it, and you can I'll lightly probe at this, right? So how long have you been working with your agent, right? Okay, great. They're pretty good. They're providing you updated market reports and stuff, because look, you can't get 100% of these guys. And even if you did, you definitely cannot service 100% of all the phone numbers that you collect, right? So it's different. I assess it to answer your question. Vivian asked that question. to ask
from my friend.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I assess it. Like I said, I'm respectful of a lot of other agent, every other agent, right? Because you never know when they're gonna have a listing, and you know what I mean. I'm very respectful of agents. So, but again, it's all about this is a client-driven business, right? So if the client is expressing like dissatisfaction and so forth, it's up to me, Sean, or Cindy to help them, or you know what I mean, to come in and provide better services, right? So that's my reply here.
How do you do the follow-up?
I mean, it's simple, right? Like a few days later, a day later, just text them or call them. Obviously most people are not going to be picking up during the weekdays 9 to 5. So if you want to call them, I would call them more so during the evening. But yeah, that's just take it from there. As long as you're not like obviously if you don't call them, you're not going to connect with them, right? And again, not 100%. So I think I got, I don't know, quite a few numbers at that open house last weekend. It's your job to follow up on these. If you don't do your job, you're not going to get paid. And how long do you follow up for them? Anu asked. Well, that's up to you. If you have free time, you're here's an example, right? So I closed property in Communication Hill. Anyways, for that particular client, I met them 1 year ago, before they closed, before they contacted, 1 year. Okay. Now I knew when I met them, they weren't like super hot buyers. They're going to buy in like 1 or 2 months. That's fine. Right. But I just kept on sending them market updates, and 99% of the time they were just, I could see that they opened the email, that they ignored it, right? I don't do this one-on-one. That's fine, whatever. But things are guaranteed, right? It's not, and I've done this to quite a few other people, right? And they didn't result into a closing, right? But some may. So how long do you follow up with them for? I would say forever, right? Why would you drop someone? Every single person, if they're interested in buying a house, they're eventually going to buy a house, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year later, right?
Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
you
talk
can do,
about that things as well.
yeah, all you can do is follow up. Now, if they don't
Yeah.
respond and they end up buying, you're obviously not going to know that, but you know, that's going to happen, right?
Mhm.
So I wouldn't expect anything from it, but you should expect for yourself to follow up. Yeah.
I would just add a little bit to Anton's. So, you know, I think I can give you guys a scheme of, you know, how to do the follow-up. Okay. So, well, I don't want to say like the follow-up is like a forever. You know, well, obviously everybody has a relatively limited time and energy, right? So I think I use a way of called 369 follow-up. Okay. So basically, within 3 days, okay, I do one-time follow-up, like giving them a call, sending them a text, and then I do 6 days and then 9 days. This 9 days can be flexible, either like 1 or 2 weeks, right? Somewhere between one, you know, can be 10 days, can be 12 days. Okay. After this, I switch to 3 weeks, 6 weeks, and 9 weeks. Okay. So this will be eventually going toward a relatively longer and gentler follow-up schedule. So you are there. Okay. I think Anton is making a great thing that you will follow up for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. But I want to ask you that I want to ask you guys, how many actual clients have you followed up for 1, 2, 3, 4 years? So so you know, this is the game, and you know, everybody knows that. I think Anton is making a great point. Number one, if they are not talking to you and they are talking to some other agents, right? Number two is that they will eventually talk to some agents, even the buyer's agent. So there will be some, you know, guys or ladies they're talking to, right? So I think it's very important to keep that in mind on your desk. And I think there's a very easy thing you can do. I do this whenever I follow up, right? If they did not pick the phone, if they did not return the text, I don't do nothing. I just change my own calendar, whatever calendar you use, Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, just mark it 3 months later time at 6:35 p.m. Give Tom another call. Okay, text Jackie. That's it. That time, my calendar is there. 1 minute. Hey, how's it going? I just want to follow up to see if you're still in the market to buy. That's the way you can follow up yourself to do the follow up. Okay, I think this is the tip I want to share with everybody. Yeah. Okay, Anton.
Yeah. Let's talk about retaining. I think we're kind of running out. So I
Okay.
think
We have a question from Lei. Besides giving out flyer at open houses and giving information about a home, can I give them information about loan rate or that's loan rate or
I
only
think that's a
lender?
lender's question.
Yeah, that would be a lender question. I mean, you're not really supposed to give loan rate, but if you have a lender partner, that they should be able to provide you with a open house flyer with the
Yeah.
estimate loan rates. Yes.
Yeah. So grab Kenny.
Yeah,
And
or
grab
Regan.
William. Yeah. Yeah. They love to stay at the open houses with you. Yeah.
Right.
So
Laika, did you have a question? Sorry.
Hi everyone, my name is Laika. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do have a question in regards to making an offer representing the buyers. If you guys know that it will be a multiple offer, how do you usually strategize your offer and how do you go back to buyers and talk to them?
got Mr. Sean Chen. I mean, both of us have some probably good replies, but I'll divert that to Mr. Sean Chen there.
So yeah, I think this is a very big topic. Maybe we can talk about this, you know, a single question for like 2-3 hours, right? Because there are so many branches, so many scenarios. I think, but I want to give you a very short answer. You know, I think you probably like wanting to hear a quick answer. But I think the most straight answer to this question is that you need to understand your buyer's position. Okay, you need to read them to understand which step they are on. Are they writing the offer to know the process of bidding itself? Are they writing the offer to overall know the current market and competition? And are they writing the offer at a certain number they want to get the house, or they want to write an offer at no matter what they want to get the house? I think these are 4 different distinctly questions that you need to learn as a realtor, as their agent, before you strategize your overall gaming plan, before you write an offer. For example, I recently had a buyer who writes an offer in Milpitas. Okay, he's a doctor at Stanford. Okay, he has about 2.2 million budget. Okay, and the house was the house was listed at 1.75. It's a very beautiful house, high ceiling, 8 graded schools, but the house is by the ramp of a highway, so it's kind of like noisy. Okay, it's by the ramp of 680, right? So we talked, right? He said very clearly, I want to write an offer at a price that I won't regret, but I know that most likely I won't be getting the house, but I just kind of want to test how the market is, because the real time I want to start is probably in August. Okay, no problem, right? So we just write an offer. I don't even ask how much the house, how much you think the house is gonna be, how much competition. I didn't even tell him. I did not even tell him how many disclosures were downloaded, how many people are writing offer, because that is not relevant. It's not gonna just be the last position in the queue, right? So we really offer 80K under asking, and he took it. So I think he took it very happily. Oh, wow, okay. So he was happy to see that the prediction. He had an own prediction. How much is this house going to go? What's his rank is going to be? How many? And it turned out that he had a very good reading of the market. He thought it's going to be like in single digits, and it ended up getting 7 offers. Obviously, we were the last one, and the final offer was around 80K or around 80 and 100,000 over asking. He was happy. He was not upset or anything at all. He was just the feeling that it's the good vibe, or he's on the good steps of going toward his goal. That's it. So I hope this can answer your question like relatively shortly by knowing your client. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for answering.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to type it in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm, I don't want to run too much for, the time. I actually have, a little bit of stories I want to tell, because Anton has given a lot more than I thought. So he has been doing
sorry
great.
Sorry if I stole the mic, man.
No worries. Yeah, I think it's great. So what I want to do is that I'm in a stage of my life that I'm actually thinking more rather than trying to aggressively, getting businesses. Okay. I like to share more and tell you guys more, what I see and what I think in business, because 7 years in the business, I think it's going to be year 8, and over maybe 3,000 families I've been working with, and over 700 transactions. So I think I've seen everybody. Okay, all kinds of families and stories. So, but I'm not going to talk on everything. I just want to share 3 very short stories, and I want to see that this is my understanding of this business, and this is my understanding of getting you and yourself better, maybe with the world around you. Okay, so the first story of my life is called if you want to speak, you have to listen first. Okay, so this is actually not a buyer, this is a seller. Okay, it's kind of like a long-time partner, and for me, I've bought and sold for some homes for them. And it's very interesting that this guy's name is Z, and he's a smart. He's not a typical like a Silicon Valley engineer, right? He's more like a business person. He's very versatile, have a lot of resources. Maybe no, at least I know him that he knows maybe 35 agents. so eventually they came to me to sell house in San Francisco. It's a condo, and it was tenant occupied. Okay, there was like some students living in the condo, and when I went ahead and looked at the condo, it was like a really filthy. Okay, it's very oily because they cook and they have pets and everything. So, and the price they want is the top price for that area, and plus the condo has 700, I think 720 or 730 HOA. Okay, and the most recent sold comp in that area was 700,000, and they wanted 850. Okay, I was like, okay, it's just a mission impossible, right? So I started from talking to them to understand where they're coming from. As I said, listen to them first, instead of telling them, hey, it's not possible, right? You're asking too much. I was like, hey, why are you selling the house? It's very interesting that it's actually a divorce sale. They were actually, they have many houses together, and they were separated because they eventually went to different countries. The husband and wife went to different countries, and so they kind of like splitting all the assets in the Bay Area. Okay, so they don't have, so one side is that they don't have to technically sell because there's nothing forcing them to sell, and the other side is that they want to sell. Okay, so they told me that, hey, you know what, I don't have to sell. Okay, I bought this for so low price that and I can even break even, I even make some money if I keep the house, right? So if you want me to sell this, you gotta get this price for me. I said, no problem, right? No problem. But I also talked with the wife. She said, we need to sell the house no matter what. Okay. But I said, I understand, but I have a certain number that Z wants me to touch, right? So basically, then we kind of like negotiate a little, but I was trying to negotiate a little instead of big things. For example, I was trying to make them do the staging, they refused. Okay, and I was trying to them to do the whole house repainting, they refused. But I insisted that they do replacing the flooring and do the paint touch up, and also do the cabinet repainting, and also do the 2 times deep cleaning to make the house like basically presentable, right? So we did that. Okay, and we went on market, out of question. I think if you're listing a house, you probably experience this a lot. It's a very strong, weird, strong-minded seller, and on the market, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no response, right? No, no offers, of course, right? So I was like, hey, that's a conversation. So one thing I did, with Anton and Cindy, we 3 actually together. So every time when we talk with each other, I think it's going to be actually good to have a team that if you have 2 or 3 people and we kind of like chatting together, it feels less confrontational. If you have one person and you try to blah, 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 blah as a real estate agent, sometimes the seller will fear it's a little bit confrontational, right? So we kind of like chit chat a little bit, and I was like, hey, here's what we have been collecting, because we've been collecting from the agents, right? And it's very interesting that not too many people were complaining about the house price itself, but about the high HOAs, and also and also everybody was giving us, hey, why you guys list at this price but not selling? And we do see the counts, right? So when we were talking to them, we basically code and repeat what the other agents telling us, instead of telling them what we think, because it doesn't matter what you think as an agent, as a person. It matters what they collect from the other agent or the buyer side, right? So we supply those information and listen to that. And after the talking, we say nothing. We just leave it as is. It's very interesting that after like the third weekly talking, like after 5 days, the wife suddenly texted me and saying, "Hey, Sean, let's drop the price. We want to sell it. Let's drop to 750." And I was like, hey, Z, are you okay with this price? He was like, he was a super slow responder because he was in China. So it's going to be super uneasy even to find him, right? So we waited kind of like 2 days, and then he eventually, replied, and he was like, "I still need to sell it close to 800K. But remember this, I listened to him, but this is a point that he is switching, he's pivoting, right? So my job is eventually becoming realistic. We initially thought that the price was going to be somewhere between 750 and 760, on the lower end, maybe 730, because we are top level unit, and the sold comps was at bottom unit. So we were always trying to defend our sellers when we talk to other agents, right? But sometimes you need to defend it in a way that is not too offensive, because if you're kicking other people's ass, hey, you know what? You don't know the market. Hey, how can you compare a first store unit to a third store unit? They don't give you a shit. They're just gonna walk away and tell the buyer, hey, you know what? The seller is not budging. So what do you think? The buyer is gonna be, okay, let's go, right? So basically, we need to be friendly. We need to be connecting. But when they agreed to drop the price, we have basically 3 choices. Number one, drop the price to 800K and hope some people to negotiate, right? To like close to 800K, something like this, right? But I know that, it's very interesting. I think also coincidentally, before we decided to drop the price, we received like 2 offers, but at a very low price. I think one is like 680, one is like 710, something like this, which is definitely out of the considerable range of theirs, right? So this gave them something like, okay, maybe price is the issue, right? So kind of like number one, jobs to 800K, and number two, jobs to 750, right? And stick onto it and negotiate like strongly. Hey, we need to sell for 750. And number three is to drop the price dramatically. Okay, so we decided to drop the price to 550. And that time, he took our advice. Okay, so the traffic started to coming in, and we set up an offer due date on the Wednesday. We got 13 offers, and the highest offers of those offers were eventually, I think 735, right, Cindy?
Or are you talking
Something.
about the Newark one?
No, the
the
San Francisco one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the small one. Yeah.
725.
725. Okay, so out of the 13 offers, we got 725, right? So what did we do is that we just left it as is, okay, low price. But again, if you're trying to use this tactic, I know there's another expert here, Wen is here. She's an expert and she's my idol in terms of listing. I think you should invite Wen. I'm very interested in hearing on how Wen does his business and the listing. So I have a lot to learn. So yeah, so the thing is that if you keep a low price strategy, it's very tedious. You're gonna get tons of calls asking you and questioning you why you guys are listing at this low price, and you need to explain and sometimes educate those agents that how the market is, how it's working, and this is the strategy. You got the traffic, and there's nothing wrong with the house. But out of these communications, right? We listen to them. We give all the feedbacks to the sellers, right? And we told them that we are on the right track to go. And with the logic, because we listened to the sellers, we had them wait to try first. It didn't work out, right? So now they were giving it our way to try out, right? So basically, at the third week that we dropped the price, one of the buyers that actually previously wrote offers at around maybe 680 came back. It's very interesting that they had a life plan change, that they knowing that there was a combination of a lease ending and a coming baby. So they were having a baby, and they were in the buying process already, but they, obviously they were not in a hurry, and then suddenly they knew they had a second baby, and probably they had already knew it before they kind of started, but it's being like a few months. I think the wife probably talked with the husband, the buyers, right? That, okay, we need to settle down. We need to have place to stay. So they came back, come at 788, okay, like 100K, 108,000 higher than the original offer, and we made a deal, okay? So it's a combination of the patience and listening, and also, the delivery of information that make things work, okay? Yeah. So the second story I want to share is an extension of what Anton was just saying. How many, like ask yourself, how many years, weeks, months can you follow up? For me, the longest follow-up time was 4 years and 9 months, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm actually showing my email record of writing offers for this family ever since February of 2019 until November of 2022. Okay, so this buyer, it was a friend's referral. Okay, so they do have a house in West San Jose, Lynbrook High School District. Okay, very good school district. They do have 2 boys, both play soccer, very good. And, they have parents living with them together. And, so basically, I knew they are living in a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, townhouse, which is 1,000 square feet. So for any house, this looks like an immediate upgrade needed, right? However, this guy is also driving. So when you talk with a buyer, okay, or seller, you need to understand and you need to differentiate if this guy is wanting to be a driver's seat or want to be a passenger seat. If they don't want to be a passenger seat, they don't want to drive. You cannot give them too much information, not too much data, try to convince them. Remember this, adults cannot be changed. Adults cannot be changed, okay? So he has a own algorithm. So we kind of like following on and up. They wrote like 3 offers back in 2018, then they quit the market, right? So what I did is that I used my 369 follow-up method, but I kept at least half a year per, like half year interval to just contacting the wife, and I was the wife was the point of contact back me at that time. But it was very interesting. Actually, I met them at another open house. I was like, wow. And actually, but the problem that at the open house, I did not recognize them. They actually called me. Hey, Sean, it's Sean. I was like, oh yes, oh yo, hey, how are you, right? So I was thinking that it's actually the following up that was making sense, right? So after we kind of like hooked back together, kind of worked together, they were kind of like very insisting on their own price. The closest time, it was very torturing for agent. We wrote an offer under asking. We thought there was no competition, and it was a probate sale, and the seller's agent was very like cooperative, and very communicative with me, because we were the best offer at that time. But the same day, they said they're gonna meet the seller at 1 p.m. At 12:45, he actually called me and said, "Hey, we have another offer, 20K higher than yours," because he liked me. He wanted to work with me. This is the best kind of scenario, that you have a seller's agent willing to help you to get the house, right? And he was so transparent. He was like, "I'm sorry, this is only 20K above yours, and do you guys want to go any higher?" And I think he's kind of like giving me the hint that even if I do like a 5K more, or even the same price, they're probably gonna work with that. And then I called this husband, and he was like very calm down. and was like, you know what, hey Sean, we really thank you very much, but when we run an offer, this is the number we thought, and we will not regret either way, we get it or not. So we had to let it go, right? So that's the thing. And so for a lot of if I were like 5 years ago, I would have getting like frustrated, feel bad, I think this is not serious buyer, they're just wasting time. No, I did not think so, because with the long time follow-up, I know that they do not have to get the best house. It's very interesting that, believe it or not, when they are buying a house, they are also learning. They're like students, right? And you're like a teacher. But let me ask you this: what is a good teacher? Is a teacher who is trying to tell them, learn, 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 study. Here's the data. Here's the math. Here's the science. You need to learn today. You need to learn, or you need to, you cannot graduate, right? No, the best teacher kind is to listen what they think. And if they want to learn, we call it interest is the best teacher. If they have their own motivation, they will eventually graduate, right? I mean, there are some dropouts who, I don't know if there is any people who actually ending up not buying a house for their lives, right? But most people, as you know, if they think about buying a house, they will buy a house, right? So as I said, when I was patient, I think they are building trust with me. Okay. So I think the fundamental thing of retaining your clients is that they have the trust over you. When you are their agents, the trust goes along and building stronger. You don't have to be feeling about losing this sometime. Okay. But as soon as you're sticking together with them and they are trusting you, you're good. Remember this. It takes their time and energy and emotion to stay together with you if they work long time with you, and don't lose your momentum. If you become eventually impatient, pushing, all your previous time was wasted. Well, we can talk about, but this is a controversial topic, right? We're talking about sinking cost. This is another thing that we can discuss later on. But as long as you are still feeling comfortable and you are feeling it's just a matter of time, of the time they're gonna get a house, just be patient. So with this family, it's the same story. We tried about 3 times, and they ended up getting a very nice house, super beautiful. I was thinking about out of their range. They were initially started like 2.2 or 2.3, but they ended up buying the house at 2.729 and a change, whatever. He did the algorithm, and I talked with the agent, and we ended up at the final numbers at about 21,000 difference. And it was very dramatic. It was like a movie thing that we wrote an offer expiration at 7 p.m. and at about 6:15 or 6:20, I had a final call with seller's agent, and it seems that the seller is not interested. The seller was a senior director at Google, and at about 6:53, the agent Kim, her name was Kim. He actually called me and said he signed it. I was like, wow. I said, just like you did, we actually have a lot of exchange between agents, right? When I talk with sellers agent, I'm not like, oh, here's the offer, take it or leave it. I explain where the buyers come from, why they're thinking about their numbers, what's the things they like. I mean, this does not necessarily work, every time, because if you're brutal multiple offer situation, no one has the time to listen to your story, right? But if in a one-on-one negotiating, this is a good time to have them hear you out, right? So essentially, the seller signed our offer, and the agent was like the same way, that here's the fact, right? Here's what I do. No matter what, I will be an advisor, I'll be a friend, and I'll be with you. And this way works the best. So I was so happy. Anytime, when I get this kind of, it was like a big accomplishment, for me, instead of getting one transaction out, getting some money, right? So the last story I want to share, it's kind of like sad story, but I kind of make me feel that I understand people better. So when you talk about either buyers or sellers, when you talk about them, it's all a lot of time is about me, the house, the transaction. But sometimes it's better to understand they have a lot of things around themselves too, work, kids, schedules, travel plans, right? Or even illnesses, right? So this buyer, it's the same situation that, I had a very good seller's agent. They were buying South San Jose for single family home. And they were, a young client, well, not very young, actually. They were in their early 40s, and a first time home buyer, right? So we were, June of 2021, I knew them, right? And we kind of like see a home. It was kind of like on and off, and they started getting essentially we were getting like closer by the end of 2022, right? So and they had, eventually I was also telling them, hey, here's the condition, here's the market, and blah blah blah, right? So essentially we kind of like find a house seeming matching their perfect criteria. And so, and I was like, and it was listed at I think 1.1. And I talked with the agent, and they were like, hey, we're taking offers to come. And I was like, what? And the reason I was calling the agent is that they actually spent about 1 hour and a half in the house. It seems that, from that style, this is almost a definite go for them, right? So I called the agent was super nice and friendly. And I knew that from a point of market condition that the 1.1 value was like, a great deal, okay? It's like, maybe 10 or 12% than the fair market value. So I called them and I was like, hey, I don't want you to write a high offer, but I want to write a fast offer. I said it in very soft tone, I don't want to be pushy. And I explained to you. So just write whatever price you like, even under asking. I think this is a good opportunity. The seller is in a urgency or in a motivated situation to sell, right? And I think it's important to get an offer out today, okay? And the husband said like, oh, I'll get right back to you, right? And he never called me back that night. I didn't call them, right? So and the other day I text them from 9 to 3. I text them once, hey, do you have 1 minute to talk? And no response, right? It was very, very frustrating. I think you all kind of like having this situation that we were undergoing, like the cold violence, right? No response, no nothing, right? So at 11:30 p.m. that day, Schubert texted, hey, Sean, we have too much going on with us. I was really not sure if we want to pursue an offer at this moment or pass on opportunity. And I replied politely with just, thank you. I totally understand and support you. Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't, right? I mean, I was like, it took me like 5.5 years sorry, 1.5 years to score a dream perfect house for you guys. And now you are just letting it go, right? So, I just about, but then we did not speak. And 6 days later, okay, and I woke up and I saw a long message, okay, with you. And he texted me at 5:49 a.m., okay. It was like this. Let me read it to you. Okay, I wrote it down. In the last 3 weeks, I've been diagnosed with glaucoma, had an endoscopy, had 1 MRI, and had to meet with 5 different specialists on totally different health issues. It's a lot of work to research all these issues themselves and handle the consequences. I have had neck pain after my accident in July. And then I start notice that when we look at houses, he was constantly doing stretching, like all the time. Okay, and I had not been able to get a therapy done for until late October. Now, finally, I have started, regular chiropractor treatment. And in addition, I've developed a small tumor in my right thumb and need to get a surgery. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. They were making their efforts trying to get their house. They were making efforts on every way of their lives, right? But it just didn't work out. I mean, unfortunately, it's not like every time you put efforts, it's gonna grow, right? So, but this is actually the first time that a client shares so many private life, thing, especially negative part. This actually opens another door for me that we just need to understand other people. When I talked with my team members, sometimes I hear kids crying after them, and they're like, "Hey, shut up, Jason! Hey, hey, mom is working." I'm like, "It's okay, it's okay. Let them talk. We can wait. We can wait, right?" I mean, you just gotta understand. Everybody has own sphere, has their own word, right? So if you understand this, you will be accepting their word, like internally. When you internally accept them and you're internally with them, I think they will know you as a friend. As I said, whether being a buyer's agent or seller's agent is essentially the trust building process. I think every day you're working toward your trust building. Okay. And when I have this essence in my working ethic, I know that I will be patient, I will be calm, I will be, and like unbiased, and I will look them as my friends instead of a tool of making money. If you have this mindset, everything will go through like water. Okay, these are the 3 stories I want to share today. And I hope this can be somewhat useful. This is probably not a typical, like a real estate class that you want to hear, right? How to grab business, how to do this, how to there. But I think this is something that pushing me forward, and I've been enjoying, doing this. And just personally, I kind of feel that I enjoy being doing, buyer side a little bit more than seller side, because seller side is a lot of strategized campaign designing. Because Anton and Cindy are doing, and my team actually, Jesse, Diane, Jing Mei, and Mark, I know are also here. We have a 9 people team. So everybody is having a lot. So for example, our open house, we have the resource of having 5 or 6. We had 4 hosts at the open house in our Milpitas to handle. I think we had 70, 80, 90, 70, 90, and 100 groups on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, I'm very lucky and blessed to have such a great team. So, and I think this is something I want to, share with all the guys, and I hope you like it. And, a lot of you are already my friends. So, feel free to chat. And I believe that every time you want to chat with me, either call or text, I'm happy to talk. I'm just a talker. I'm not like a top producer. I don't know. I think I went to real estate just because I like to chat with people and share stories with people. So, yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you want to take over?
Wow, what a lot of amazing story. I can feel that you guys are very passionate about real estate.
Yes.
Anybody have question? Ask our dear speakers.
Thank you guys for sharing, Sean, Cindy, and Anton. I definitely learned a lot today. About learn more about you guys, learn more about how you guys do your business. Love the fact that Cindy said you got to be confident, and then Antoine, you said, hey, you got to follow up, you got to know your client. You can't just send them some random listing anybody can do. And then Sean, you told me that we got to connect more with the client, not just about making the money, but it's about how we can connect with them. And I'm impressed at how they can share that personal story. That's a big one. Not a lot of people will share their medical information to anybody. Like I know I don't, but yeah, really appreciate you sharing
Yeah.
such successful stories.
I wrote down a page of note that they mentioned about too. So
Yeah.
I like what Song say. Depend on what your client is, they want to be the driver or they want to be the passenger. So you use the way talk to them is gonna be different.
It's different. It's very different. Some people they need leading. Some people they want to lead. Yeah.
And then I can see that you spend a lot of time building trust, building relationship with your client.
Yeah, I think I think that Mika was asking how much, social media do you use? How much door knocking? So this is the short board of our strategy. Unfortunately, I'm using minimum marketing, and you probably some of them you know us, and I do not really do too much except for our listings and some of I don't do regular like either social media posting or I'm trying to because everybody's doing videos these days. We are trying to, but I think it's here that for my experience, like one-on-one, you don't have to have I don't know 500 leads, but it's basically the the quality of service that matters. So, but maybe this is not applicable for everybody. Especially if you want to specialize for listings, then probably door knocking, probably even cold calling, postcards are effective ways. So yeah, this is just the one side of the whole thing. Yeah. Go ahead, Vivian.
Okay, so last chance. If you have any question for us, feel free to ask. Unmute yourself. If not, we are very, very thankful Cindy, Anton, and Song to come out to speak for us during your busy work schedule. And thank you everybody for attending our Zoom meeting. So please follow up on us. If you have question, call me or Kenny about the loan program, and we will continue bring amazing speaker for you so that everybody can grow our business together. Thank you.
Yeah. Last thing, I take you last 10 seconds, okay, to just give you a little bit. Our team's name is Gaea, Gaea. That's the goddess name of Greek for land. Okay, so I hope that every time when you see this name, you know that it's our team, and we look forward to working with every one of you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Team Gaea.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kenny and
Have a
Vivian.
great day.
Yeah, for having a great event. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.